So, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depends where you're watching. Welcome to Satsang. So, let's make some silence first. Nothing and no one else exists. Resting, resting in silence at the source. Okay, so let's start with the questions. So, there was some question about some text that was written on the Facebook. It's from Peter. So, Peter, I'm going to answer your questions. So the first question is about one text that was written on Facebook. And the text was, "Today is a good day to drop all mundane investments and completely embrace your spiritual awakening journey. Today is your day. No more delays. May this sentence be yours today. May you find the strength and wisdom to make this ultimate decision, surrendering yourself completely to the source." And the question was, what does this mean practically and actually? Well, this means practically and actually that it is time to drop all these postponing and all these things and to rise upon the call that is in the heart, mm, and make it for real, you see? uh, there's always some delays, some um, how do you say this? Some valid situations that justify this postponing. See, and hard, hard decisions they are a need, and because if you're not focused, completely focused, things don't happen. You see, it stays at the superficial level. So all questions, everything that surrounds the quest for truth has to be intensely followed with a focus and concentration and with determination. Without it, means nothing. Second text, it was like this. I like this one. The biggest obstacle for truth seekers currently is the lack of sincerity in their spiritual path. The majority finds themselves weakened by their worldly aspirations, and instead of assuming their weaknesses, they mask them with convenient spiritual teachings interpretations, using spiritual wisdom to maintain their own illusion, keeping their real interests the maintenance of worldly aspirations, with a huge potential, with a real call in their heart, shrink in the presence of their own fragility. May honesty illuminate your mind and courage awaken in your heart. So his question again was, what do you mean when you say instead of assuming their weaknesses? It's simple. You see, wisdom comes in different contexts, and it is used in different ways, and the majority these days is using wisdom to mask their fragilities. So going around this, going after that, it's no problem because I'm not the body, so there's nothing to be done to that. And by allowing this to mask the weaknesses because they are not able to be by themselves, they are not able to drop a lot of things, and they are going uh, to spirituality for the realization of worldly goals, worldly happiness, a worldly better life. Hmm? And they are mixing their things. So if this is a seeker of truth, so the best thing that he has to do is to um, assume the weaknesses are there, the dependencies, to see what they are and start working on them concretely instead of masking them. Sorry, so you said not sure how the word assuming is being used. Well, assuming is like being honest about their weaknesses. Sorry, my English is not that good, like I said before. So probably maybe this word is not the best one to use here. But what it means is instead of being honest about weaknesses, instead of masking the weaknesses, I'm not sure. It is masking the weaknesses instead of uh, taking them for what they really are. Maybe this is better. So, and using spiritual wisdom to maintain their own illusion. So, for some situations, like I've seen here and explained in certain answers, in some situations, the highest wisdom applies, nothing to be done. But when it comes close to what you're dependent on, to what you're clinging to, aspiring to, desiring to, then other wisdom comes to allow you to continue those quests and masking this as spiritual undertaking. And this is just self delusion, and it will just bring pain, emptiness along the way. And even that is a blessing. Even that is a blessing. And these worldly aspirations are actually weaknesses. And if I have time today, I will talk about this a little bit further. This self-sufficiency, which is a prerequisite. Maybe this word also. It is a must to be self-sufficient, at least in a good extent, because or else you'll just be dragged and dragged and dragged and not being able to sustain yourself in stillness. And for this, a lot of pain has to be released from within. Self-sufficiency, we'll go to that later, maybe. So this question is over. So in the first sentence, to make a decision uh, about a sincere, intense uh, quest for truth, non-stop, 24/7, without any excuses, without protecting anything. This is a need, because if you don't make this decision and keep it, you'll be distracted over and over and over and over and over and over. And one name of the game is focus or be distracted. Being distracted, your time is wasted. If you're focused, your everything is a gain. So I will answer your questions now. So there was these two questions about the posture. The posture the posture pain in the back in the chair, is there a way to be more comfortable? Is there a point in being more comfortable? So this question is a repeated question. It comes every time somebody sits for meditation, and this need to be more comfortable. What is comfort? This I'm not the body, you have to see this I'm not the body, not just repeated mentally. So discomforts belong to the body, not to you. And comfort, discomfort, what is the importance of this? If the importance is there, more more it seems to be important to just take the discomfort. It is normal, that discomfort is normal, because the body is not um, used to that position. Probably it has a lot of deformities because of body posture, because of everything can make the body, uh, the posture that people have in normal, it's normally more bent like this, or even if they are a little bit overweight, they tend to deform all the spine. So putting the posture of meditation, it will be difficult, it will be very discomfortable, and if you really persist in maintaining perfect absolute stillness, it will be very, very intense. Sometimes it is so painful that the back hurts so much that it foams. There is a foam in the sweat. But as you maintain stillness, this disappears very quickly. It doesn't seem to be quickly because, well, when you're in pain, time changes. Also, when you're in happiness and joy, time changes also, or the perception of it. But it tends to stabilize quite quickly. But if you're just moving a little bit, then it doesn't. It takes a lot of time because the work is in here, not in the body. So this needs to gain this stability. So this struggles against stability, and the tendencies in the mind present themselves immediately. Can I make this more comfortable? This is what it is trying to do all the time, improving the dream, improving the dream. If I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. So what is the point of improving? Improving for what? I only need to improve if I'm dependent on the dream, if I'm belonging into the dream, if I want that dream. So if you want to get out from the dream, hmm, you have to end this need to change the dream, to improve it, to make it different. So this decision, the decision, I want nothing else from this world apart from freedom. This is a need, you see? And as you concentrate your practice and you give full attention to it 24/7, there's no room for distractions. Distractions will be there, will come, but you will start to see them and to let go of them, not taking their invitation. Hmm? And you will go through all these tendencies in the mind that function automatically, and you will start cutting their influence, their power to make you move, to make you invest, to make you change. Hmm? So this is one big tendency. So meditation, okay, so let me make this more comfortable. What does this mean? It has to be more comfortable, more cushions. If there's noise around, I have to put this noise down. If it's too much heat, I have to open the windows. Too much cold, I have to close them. Or I have to do this and I have to do that. Everything has to be prepared, and the mind is trying to control all aspects. So this is normal functioning, and it doesn't take too far. So you put the posture, you make it firm, and it remains until the end. It doesn't matter what kind of thoughts are there. So it will be discomfortable physically, emotionally also, and even in there is pain, even in the energetic body, there is pain. So sometimes you will even feel this, like there's some hot iron that is making a hole through the back to the front here at the heart level, for example. First, in the beginning, is lower back, which is more connected to the emotions and all of this. And there is an intelligency in this process, which is preparing all aspects that need to be prepared. And what you need to do is to keep quiet. That means don't go into these things, don't evaluate, don't judge, just let them be and remain still. Keep that stillness. Okay. So between 2 and 6, I was able to do a period of 1 hour and 23, another period of 1 hour. It appeared that fire pain is like giving birth. Sometimes it is. Uh, giving birth is very good, very good. I gave my utmost to the practice, and that is the best. But understand, um, this changing periods is not very good, because you cannot allow yourself to fluctuate according to the limits that are arising. So if 1 hour is what you can do, stick to 1 hour. If you can increase this for 1 hour and 10, for example, sit for 1 hour and 10. Next time, sit for 1 hour and 10. Next time, sit for 1 hour and 10. Don't fluctuate with what is possible now, because eventually you can go to 1 hour and 23, then just 1 hour, then 45 minutes, then 1 hour and 10 again. And it's like this, and you're still being a puppet of apparent limitations. Eventually, some you will have to be. You cannot just cut everything because it would be too much. Seriously. Not if you're doing this in an imaginable way, okay, but seriously, it will not, you would not endure. It wouldn't be humanly possible. But there are some things you can do intensely, and whatever you can do intensely, it is good. So this changing periods, moving along your comforts, discomforts, if you feel good, if you don't feel good, if it is better, if it is worse, if it is easier, there is more silence, or if it is more difficult, there's more agitation. You just keep the time and you increase it, and when you increase it, you maintain no matter what happens. You see, inside, from inside, the screams come, not just the pain, to stop it because this and that and da 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 da. And this is the thing. If there is any obstacle, it is this I notion, I am this. This is the greatest obstacle. So this character has to be limited, cut it, make it useless, useless. So whatever is saying, whatever is screaming, it doesn't matter. Go back to silence. Or in that case, that technique that you're practicing. Silence follows. But not fluctuating around this. So to prevent a little bit this fluctuation, establish a period. So I can do one sitting of 1 hour and 23, then one hour. So maybe if you did 3 sittings of 1 hour, maybe that would be much better than exhausting everything and then go look at the broader picture. And then if you can increase it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maintain what you've conquered and don't move because you already know that you can do it. So it doesn't matter what appears to be happening. If you're giving birth even for twins, just maintain it. And these pains, they are not just physical discomforts, they are energetic also. It's like energy is increasing to dissolve something which is really hardened there. So take it, and the more you remain still, slight movement makes a difference, makes a difference. And giving your utmost to the practice, it is very important. And then you have to become smarter and smarter, understand how things are, the way they work, so that you don't waste your time and energy with naiveness. It's unavoidable in the beginning, but then you'll understand. And this trying, I made other attempts several times, but I don't count them because it is less than 1 hour. So don't, you have to prepare, not trying what I can do. So this self-esteem has to be removed from there. Put your mind. So this period, for example, I'm talking to you. So if others have any questions, well, because this is more directed. So try this next time. 3 sittings of 1 hour in that period of time. And during the periods that you stop the formal sitting practice, you keep on chanting. You can do it loud also, if it is easier, because in the beginning loud chanting is very good. And then you rest, you divide the time, and then you prepare yourself to make 1 hour, and stop a little bit, and 1 hour, then 1 hour. And try to put this, not just testing what can I do and what is the limit. The mind gives you a lot of limits, but those are not the real limits. And as you persist, you will see that your limit will be pushed in front and pushed again and pushed again. And this is not for you to become any Superman, but it is for you to understand that these limitations that the mind is saying that they are real, they are not real. And after you've seen this, you'll understand it is the same principle every time. I feel like and want to throw up at times. I fall into crying regarding all these attachments. This this is very good because first, the best of all of this is the intensity that this practice is happening. It shows that it is quite sincere, and the crying from inside, it's real and it's quite awakened. This is the most important. Hmm? So this throwing up, this sensation of throwing up, it comes a lot of times, especially in the beginning, you see, because a lot of interactions, useless interactions, energetic interactions. Sometimes the environment is a little bit polluted, so it is filtering everything, your own energy, purifying your own energy, and the environment energy. And there are some kinds of energy, not good ones, that really give this need to throw up. Sometimes it's just resistance, just some episode that it is being brought to you for you to give up. So this is not doing good to me, so it's better to stop. And sometimes it is these purifications of the environment and of yourself of certain type of energies. So it is best for this to help this light diet. I've spoken previously about this light diet, avoiding fats, too many fats. Uh, this will help because it will not overcharge the your body and your energetic system, so it will help you to cleanse. And depending how your body is, it also can be a way. But if it is happening, then preparations are being made. It's not wasting time. I fall into crying regarding all these attachments. Hmm? So instead, this crying is normal, and you will see now it's about these attachments. Then this crying will come for for that final realization, reunion, and and sometimes it's just there crying. It just overflows, and it is like cleansing everything. So the least you give meanings to these emotions that coming, reasonings for them to be there and expressing, the best. Just let the phenomenons happen and just continue what you're doing, continue the practice. And this is like your heart is awakening, it is telling you that it is feeling alive again. So the life of the process is coming back. And by coming back, it is pushing all these things out. And if you're seeing the attachments and you're sad about them, don't be, because this is good information, the best information. So now you know what you need to cut. It becomes clear. And each one of them represents intense pain that has to be lived as you cut them. But the intensity of the pain, it also has to do with an attitude that you have about it. Because if you take it, it will be less painful. But okay, no, I had forgot previously, but let's bring this. The pain of meditation plays a very important role. You see, meditation, it's about increasing energy. If you're doing meditation for self-inquiry, for example, don't worry about these things, even for other things. But knowing and just practicing, it helps. But practice comes first, you see? So pain bears a very important, bears no, it plays a very important part because it prepares the nervous system, it prepares the mind, it strengthens the mind in a good sense. And if you don't go through it, you'll be missing this part and you'll be too fragile to move into the highest practices. So this pain is very important. It is preparing you. And as you persist, you become more fit to deal with these deeper and deeper attachments. They will demand you more energy, more stamina, because keeping quiet, keeping still until it becomes effortless is the biggest effort, the biggest effort. And it is effortless, yes, of course, if it wasn't for your delusion, it would be. Hmm? So keeping quiet, not doing anything is what needs more effort in the beginning. Real practice, real practice. I even try going back to discrimination between the eternal and the temporary. It seemed like the body cannot take it, so then I rest and go back to it. See? So you see, as you try to move, go back and forth, you're touching the barriers of your world. This is your world saying you can only practice inside these molds. And going back to the practice, to discrimination, why? Because it is stronger, more powerful, more accurate, or because it is more easy and you're running away from these visions of attachments and the difficulties and all of that. Hmm? And what is discrimination between the eternal and temporary for the one who is completely conditioned by temporary? It's just make believe practice, make believe. Ah, this passion is lacking. Yes, yes. This passion is lacking. This passion is a good topic, a very good topic, because uh, it has to be there and it has to be conquered in a sense. And it's a different kind of conquering. You see, in the worldly life, conquering means going to action. In the spiritual life, this, at least for freedom, for dissolution, it is not going to action, not engaging. It's taking the action that stops all actions. Hmm? So, and for this passion is needed. A clarified on-look into what appears to be real, into the world. You see, looking at things that they are useless and they don't bring supreme happiness. They don't bring you the realization of truth, of who you are. So pointless undertakings, looking at things as something that is there to rob you your time, to distract you. And this is the truth. And if you go through logic on all these structures, real logic, you will see this. There's no point. Hmm? So you came alone and you go alone. So what have you been doing here? If you're coming and going, so what is the point of all this? And as you move into these questionings, you will see that there's only emptiness in all of this. And people try to find the meaning of life and the meaning of life and the meaning of life because it's not there. The name of the game is freedom. That is the name of the game. The rest is thus just distraction. It seemed like the body cannot take it, so then I rest and go back to it. Well, you have to continue and persist. See, one of the best things, there is this idea that the process is about the techniques, the practices, and all of this, but it's about transformation, about making you more simple, less complex, more simple until silence, for complete noise to complete silence. Mm? So in these obstacles that come through the spiritual practice, these obstacles are the circumstances where you can acquire this simplicity and that means removing that which is complex. So sometimes it seems impossible, and yeah, as you persist, you are developing the inner qualities that are needed. It's like you're going for the marathon, and marathon happens once a year, but you're running every day to train your body to prepare and to become stronger and faster and all of this. But it's just one day the marathon, but the rest is preparation. And this preparation is very important. So all the qualities that you need, persistence, surrender, uh, purity, devotion, and all of this, sacredness, they will be developed if the scream from the heart, the calling for the quest of truth, if it is real, it will not allow you to give up, and by not giving up, you will have to develop what is needed and to remove what is disturbing. Eating food once a day, only sattvic food now since Monday. Good. And as your body is not prepared and not clean yet, take lots of water. It is very good. It will help this cleansing of toxins and everything until you're more established. But take it in a period that will not disturb that time of meditation by have to go to the bathroom and all of this. So after meditation, just keep on drinking water, and at the end of the day, stop it so that this period is not disturbed. And in the intervals of the practice, don't take any water, don't take anything, no food, no water, nothing. I realized that omega-3 supplement, I realive, I relieve, because there is fish in it, omega supplement. There are other places where these supplements are, but you don't need to go too much in these supplementations and all of this. The best, as you concentrate food in one day, static food, in a reduced quantity, not filling your stomach. See, your body will go to a more optimal functioning, and it will take what it needs from the same food more or less, but in a very enhanced way, very enhanced way. But still, there are other options that don't have this animal thing. Even in daytime, I stopped avoiding the people. Bad company return the I when I to I when fear arose. This this daytime, these daily activities, they give you a lot of nurturing for restless, for agitation, for confusion, for attachments. It feeds a lot of things. So this reducing these impressions or cutting them, it is very good. But as you do this, it will become more and more intense. You'll be able to see much clearer your attachments, your fears, your dependencies, your fragilities. Everything will be there. And this is why strength is needed. So these uh, intense practices, they are like what is mentioned as tap, because they will intensify your inner strength. And this is a need, because when these fragilities start arising and the screams become unbearable, if you're not strong enough to remain still, you will go after these things. Like it is happening, as these things are coming, then you stop the practice and you go back to another practice or something like this. So in the outer expression, it is the same thing. So now you're avoiding people, but then you see that you were there because of your own needs or because what you believe are your own needs. And then you have to go back again. Or you go back or they come in, because there is a relationship with this outside. And as you try to cut these bonds and attachments, this outside will come after you intensely. Just like this, there's nothing innocent anywhere. I want to cut the desire of object and its root, and I ask myself what I found. What I found this attractive. When I find this attractive, I need to drop the idea that all objects are desire. And it makes it easier when you're in your intimate space, not going out and remaining there, because in this intimate space you will see more clearly what is disturbing this practice. So if you're doing the mantras now and you're repeating the mantra and going inwards with the mantra, abstracting from everything else, whatever moving is pushing you out of this, away from the mantra, this is the personal world, the world of the individual, fighting for its existence. The mantra works, or silence works as a torch, and coming into this world and ripping it apart. So when you stop one and you go to the other, this is the struggle, the inner struggle. You see, resisting the, the attachments of the individual. They are the chain of food, that which gives reality to him, purpose, meaning, direction, and all of this. By cutting these things, you cut his food and it starts to become weaker and weaker until disappears. So any questions about this, you can send. This passion is a must, is a must. So if you sit quiet, uninterested with anything, you will see if you can maintain that in a firm manner, you will see um, your interests, your attachments, and all of this. And behind this, there is sadness. This sadness uses these channels of attachments to feed itself, because eventually these objects, whatever they will bring suffering. And this suffering will feed this sadness, because sadness ultimately is not real. So none of these structures are real, so they need constant food, constant food. So all your hopes for joy, they are just sadness, food for sadness. So as you stop this and not go there, then what happens is this sadness starts to arise. First, anxiety and agitation. This is the first signal that most seekers just give up here. But if you persist, eventual anger, hate for doing this, for being there, and hate, intense hate, and then sadness. But you can go directly to it. If you see this mechanism, you can ask directly, what is the sadness behind this? And if this practice is mature, you will access it and will just relieve. There's no point in evaluating what kind of sadness, what type. From what about? It's just sadness. Just sadness. Impersonal sadness. Is the body the I thought, and the world is the mind, and reality the truth? Is it all one conscious appear? Is it all? Is all? Is one conscious appearing? Well, our Englishes are very good. These concepts, these concepts are pointless. You can try to, if you want to, the 9 keys of Shankara to self-realization. Like I told myself, I'm attached to the baby example, but I told myself that anyway it will die. It's a little bit confusing. Told myself that I'm attached to the baby example. But I told myself anyway it will die. Who will die? The attachment, the baby, what will die? You see, well, if I understood correctly your doubt, if you're waiting for the attachments to drop, well, they won't. And they will change, and they will constantly change to make you to continue to be distracted and a prisoner of them. So these things, even dreams that you're following, they almost always change before you reach them, so that they can keep the same distance from you and keep you engaged in investing in them. But knowing these things, and is the body the I thought, and the world is the mind, and all these, building these images disturbs silence. See, when you receive a technique, it is your decision. Have you received guidance, or have you received something that you may try to understand and practice and all of this? It makes the whole difference, because if you received guidance, there's nothing to evaluate, no concepts to entertain, just do the practice. The rest, silence, silence. Because if you're building these diagrams and all these things, there is no silence. So the work is done superficially, superficially. So these are nice concepts, but it just feeds, and this feeds uncertainties, feeds noise, noise, noise. It will die, the form. Okay, it will die, the form. But it doesn't. And everything, it's renewing all the time. You see, if there is nothing happening for the majority of people, nothing happening means boring. What is this boring means? It means lacking stimulus, so that it has a point. It flows. It means something, because this is opposite of silence. So the mind goes where there is these stimulations. In the spiritual undertaking, it is the same. So if it has to learn very complex systems, it likes it, it appreciates. Even this Advaita language. So people create a new language. They don't speak in plain language, because if they speak in plain language, they are not enlightened. So someone is speaking in a plain language, it's not enlightened, because everybody's interpreting the language and all of this and all of this like it meant something. Sometimes it does, but it doesn't. So letting go of these philosophies of love, it's very important, because the mind will engage in them easily, and it will use these concepts, these language formings, these maintaining appearances, all these things to maintain the noise. Maintain the noise. Mandukya Upanishad explains the absolute truth. And then you have to live it. The scriptures are very powerful means, but not of explanation. Explanations are there, yes, but every sacred book is expression of God, of the divine. So the book, when you're reading, if you're tuning to it, if your heart is opening to it, not giving importance in the understanding the actual words, but on connecting to that life, that divine life, this is the greatest. This is the greatest practice with the scripture. Yes, better it. Today your English is especially better, is improved today. Okay, I'll try to understand. It is like this, we do the best with what we have. Because if you had to improve your English to speak to me, it would take a lot of time. Then I would have to improve it to understand it, more time. So we do the best with what we have. This is the same with spiritual practice. Because what we have, if we do the best, it will improve. Any comments at this point? I just need to remain quiet then. This is the keep quiet we were talking about yesterday. Keep quiet. Keep quiet doesn't mean don't do this or do this. It's not about the this. It's just keep there. Keep quiet. Don't involve in none of this. How do you say? None of these impressions. The mind tries to adapt, I see. Yes, and it will do it immensely all the times. And the more you resist, the more angry it will become. And then you will see what you haven't seen so far. It is a wild animal and it will try to devour you, will try to bring terror into you when you're really threatening the world of the character. If what you're doing spiritually is not threatening illusion, just feeding it, then you will not know these things. You won't see them. It flows and I'm just observing what is happening and all of this. But if you're threatening illusion, it will become angry and violent and all of this. So this is why you need the strength, because it will hit you where it hurts. If you don't have the strength for it, you will succumb. Naturally, you will fall down. Okay, Janice. As I started learning to meditate, why is it having panic attacks, anxiety, and fears? Because they are there. And as you start to meditate, it will unravel all things that are there. So these fears that are connected to, for example, worldly investments, worldly life, whatever is imprisoning you in a continuous nightmare. Sometimes it is like this. It will also present itself in meditation, especially in meditation. It will come for you to give up. This is the first goal. Whatever comes in the beginning, discomforts and all of this, anxieties, fears will come to make you stop or to make you stronger. That will depend on you. And as you continue and become stronger, freer from these noises, these agitations, all these things, then you will go. Now it seems it is very intense. Then you will go one by one. Other times it will go directly in one that threatens everything else. It's like terror attacks. It is a process of removing the chaos, the disturbing the anchors of illusion that are inbuilt. Words are complicated, but everything, you see, this, it's not about going for happiness or the quest for truth. It's about removing delusion, removing suffering. So as you persist in silence, this vibration of silence pushes all noises, all agitations out, and they are a lived experience as they go out, as fears, attachments, sadness, all these things. So as this is expressing and it is being lived as a real experience, don't give meaning to it. Don't try to run away from it, because this is giving importance and maintaining things as they are. Just keep with what you're practicing, with or silence or any other practice or whatever. Just keep to it, and don't analyze what's coming up. The mind analyzes so that it doesn't live the fears, it doesn't go through. It's like it's maintaining its own fragility. There's nothing to be known. If it is a delusion, nothing to be known, nothing to be understood. Just go away. Hmm? But whatever noise is there, it will come up. If it's not a serious practice, you won't see any of this. Hmm? If it becomes more serious, you will see it. If you're in a position where you're after meditation to fix these anxieties and all of this, well, it may or may not be there depending on the potential that you have. If there's no potential for anything, you will see shanti shanti, and it's good, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Nah? But if the potential is there, then you will see hell in the beginning and it will be very difficult. But if you establish yourself, then these things start to get away, and then you will see that there is a big sun behind the, the black clouds, big sun. So if you want to ask a little bit more, Janice, well, you can send and you will send back to me. Okay, in the daydreaming, I better not push to sit. I mean, just focusing on that period. Yes, and you can do one sitting also at the end of the day before you go to sleep, because this will prepare that period. It will help a lot. But during the day, just for you, that is with the mantra according to what was spoken in the other satsang. So during the day, just keep up with the mantra. When you can sing it loudly, sing it loudly. Sing and hear and listen to it at the same time. Make attention completely absorbed in the practice, completely absorbed. And do it all the time. So what do you advise for practicing daytime? Okay, what I've said now. While working, I have to accept everything uninvited. While working, do I have to accept everything uninvited? Depending on your work, if your work is disturbing, it will have to change, or you will have to change. Possibly, everything has to change until you get to the point where you know that nothing needs to change, but a lot of things has to change till then. And it's only true that nothing has to be changed when you have changed all these things, because it wasn't your truth previously. And without these experiences, it cannot become your truth, actually. So it's like, well, why do you have to squash the food and make it very soft for the baby to eat it? If you can just chew it up. It is true, I can chew the food, so I smash it. Oh, the baby has no teeth. Well, it doesn't have teeth, but it's just imaginary. Eventually they are there inside somewhere, so I'll just give them in one piece and it will eat it. No, first it chews the food like this, then the teeth will grow, then they'll need. 1 hour has passed already? Ah, yes, so this is, so Instagram has stopped. I will connect again Instagram. Did I share this? Okay, so we're back again on Instagram. I feel trapped in that job. It is an hospital, a lot of bad vibe. Okay. What come up is chanting on practice in daytime, while in daytime. Yes, like I said previously, you can chant all day mentally if you have a place where nobody is watching so that unnecessary questions or attention comes to you. You can sing it loudly also. This is very good. You don't need to worry about this silent practice yet, because this mantra will push noise away, push, and will, if you continue intensely like you're doing and improving this intensity, making it more intelligent, uh, then things will start changing. What is too much will have to go, and only remains what is absolute need for this moment, because next moment it will change also. So I feel trapped in that job. It is a hospital, a lot of bad vibe there. So this is where you get your supplies of sadness. If it is bad vibe, why are you there? Is the job the real trap, or is your dependency of what it is giving you according to what you think you are really needing? What is the real trap? And the real trap is these inner beliefs, your beliefs, your dependencies, your fragilities, and everything else. If you let go of that hospital, if you thought about this, a lot of fears would come up. This is a way of seeing what is the real cage, not this hospital for sure. Can be a hospital, can be something else. It doesn't matter. It is how you connect to these things. And if it is like this, if it is disturbing, so find something more suitable as you remain in these choices, as guidance is not there. Hmm? So if this is a disturbance, if you read it this way, find something. But then this finding something will, for sure, something that won't disturb too much will bring these fears and all these things. So self-sufficiency, we will continue this subject next satsang. Okay? So we have talked in a lot of things that you can uh, ponder about, and continue with the practices, intensify your spiritual practices. And this period, if you're in in a sacred place like Rishikesh, Tiruvannamalai, uh, all these places, use the time to intensify your practices, because in these places you have these days much more distractions that they were in the old days. Uh, so don't go to this seeing here, going there, doing this, doing that. Intensify the practices, and this going to meet this teacher and that teacher. This is just agitation. They are there if you want to go something, just wait until direction comes. Apart from that, intensify, intensify. These places are not for sightseeing. Hmm? They are for real seeing. And this is closing your eyes and going and deepening into those intense vibrations. Okay. So for today, we have ended. So there was a creation of two new groups, but for English speaking ones, just one. So it is Sriman Narayana. Huh? So I don't know if you want to go inside, then we'll make the broadcastings from there, from the page, and continuously from YouTube. Hmm? Okay. And well, if there's something else, then I will inform. But keep track on the postings, they will inform because they are the ones who are doing all this. Okay, so until next time. So next satsang will be tomorrow. This is Saturday again. It's okay, tomorrow. I want to say Thursday, no, no. Tomorrow, satsang, same time again. Okay? So till next time.